Hey friends, and welcome to this new video. Here we are at last. After months of waiting, teasers, theories, and endless discussions, Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 was released just yesterday. The new chapter is finally here, and, as often happens with highly anticipated games, the first drama started within hours. On one side, the game sold a huge number of copies on day one, showing that interest in the series is still very high. On the other side, many players and a big part of the community quickly started criticizing several aspects of the chapter. Criticism that is creating a lot of discussion and dividing fans. In this video, I want to slow down for a moment and analyze all of this calmly. We'll look at the main criticisms that are emerging, understand where they come from, and, most importantly, try to figure out what they really mean for the future of the series. Because this is not just about saying whether the chapter is good or bad. What is happening says a lot about the relationship between developers and the community, the expectations built over the years, and how this chapter fits into the story of Poppy Playtime. We will talk about gameplay choices, narrative direction, some details that are generating discussion, and also the theories that are already appearing just hours after release. Some criticisms are understandable, others may be a bit rushed, and we'll try to look at both perspectives. This is not a video made to destroy the chapter. I liked very much this game, so I don't have reason to destroy it. The goal is to analyze, reflect, and bring together different points of view to better understand what is happening around Chapter 5. Before we start, if you enjoy analysis videos like this about Poppy Playtime, leave a like because it helps the channel a lot. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos, because we'll talk a lot more about this chapter. With that said, let's begin. Let's see what the most important criticisms about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 are and why they are making so much noise. And let's go to SteamDB. Let's start with the percentage of positive reviews on Steam. In this screenshot I'm showing, you can see the percentage at the exact moment I'm recording this video, so this is a number that might change by the time you're watching this. Right now, the percentage of positive reviews is 75.99%, with around 2,000 total reviews. Now, this needs to be said clearly. In general, this is not a low percentage. It's not the score of a bad game or a complete failure. A 75% rating is still a positive result. But the point is not just the number itself, it's the context. We're talking about one of the most popular mascot horror series of the last few years. A series that created extremely high expectations chapter after chapter. Because of that, a percentage below 80% is being perceived by many as not entirely convincing. For comparison, Chapter 3 currently holds a percentage above 80%. This means that, at least in first impressions, Chapter 5 is receiving a more divided response. It's also important to say that this is still a better start compared to Chapter 4. Anyone who remembers the launch of Chapter 4 knows that the initial percentage was much lower, mainly due to the many bugs present at day one. Over time, the situation improved, but the first impact was definitely more difficult. Despite this, many criticisms have already arrived for Chapter 5 within the first hours. Obviously, I can't show every negative review in a single video because there are too many and the video would become endless. But by reading the reviews, three main recurring reasons clearly emerge. The first one concerns technical problems at launch. The second concerns too many puzzles. The third concerns the design of the prototype, which, according to some, did not meet expectations. Starting with the technical problems, many reports specifically concern the game startup. Some users report that the game doesn't open, freezes, or simply doesn't start at all. Fortunately, I personally did not have this issue, but it's clear that a portion of players experienced it and that inevitably affects early reviews. The important difference, however, is this. A technical problem, in most cases, can be fixed with patches and bug fixes. It's something that can improve over time. The other two reasons are different, because they don't concern how the game runs, but the game itself, meaning design choices and overall structure. And that's exactly why in the next part we will analyze the other 2 points, which in my opinion are much more important, because they directly concern how Chapter 5 was built and the creative decisions behind it. Now let's move on to the second criticism, the number of puzzles in the chapter. Most of the negative reviews appearing right now mention this specific aspect. Chapter 5, compared to previous chapters, is much longer. By itself, a longer duration is not necessarily a problem. In fact, it is often something players ask for. The real point, however, is how that duration is built. According to many users, a large portion of the playtime is occupied by puzzles. Puzzles that, for some players, end up artificially stretching the game and interrupting the dynamic pacing the series was known for. Poppy playtime has always alternated tension, chase sequences, exploration, and puzzles. In Chapter 5, however, some players feel there is a stronger shift toward the puzzle component. For some players, some puzzles are not immediately intuitive. This does not necessarily mean they are difficult in a positive way, but that at certain moments players can remain stuck for a long time without understanding what to do. When that happens, the horror tension risks breaking. Others make an even more direct criticism. They argue that the heavy presence of puzzles reduces the impact of the horror experience. The idea is that the more time you spend solving puzzles, the less space remains for fear, chase sequences, and those unpredictable moments that made the series famous. It is also important to say that puzzles are not new. They have always been part of Poppy Playtime's gameplay since the first chapter. The difference, according to many players, is the quantity. In Chapter 5, they are perceived as more frequent and more central to progression. For some, it is a natural evolution, an attempt to make the game more structured and longer. For others, it is a choice that changes too much of the series' rhythm and identity. The key point to understand is that this is not a technical criticism. It does not concern bugs or issues that can be fixed with a patch. Puzzles are part of the game structure, so they cannot simply be removed or reduced with an update without deeply changing the experience. In short, behind this criticism there is a clear expectation. Part of the community would have preferred a more dynamic chapter, with fewer puzzles and a stronger presence of active horror moments. Now let's move to the next part, where we analyze the criticisms about the prototype. Now we arrive at the final major criticism, the one related to the prototype's design. This is probably the most subjective aspect among the ones we talked about, but at the same time it is one of the most discussed. A portion of players clearly said that the prototype's design did not convince them. In particular, some people found it not iconic enough compared to the expectations built over the years. After all the mystery surrounding this character, many expected a different visual impact. When a character is teased for such a long time, fans create a very specific image in their minds, and when the real reveal does not match that image, disappointment can easily appear. One of the comparisons that is circulating the most involves Pomni from the Amazing Digital Circus. The reason is quite obvious. Both the prototype and Pomni are jesters. This similarity led many people to make immediate comparisons, especially on a visual level. Some online comments describe the prototype as a sort of unsettling or demonic version of Pomni. It is a comparison that keeps appearing, especially in early reactions, when the design is judged more for its immediate impact than for its narrative role. Others, however, are not focused on the comparison itself, but on the disappointment connected to the long wait. After years of theories, anticipation, and expectations, some people imagine something completely different. When a character is built through mystery for so long, the risk of not satisfying everyone becomes very high. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.